with a very honourable mention to PSA Sitch's hilarious word-for-word retelling of Polygon's version of events concerning the notorious garbage human VidCon incident. If I had to recommend one YouTube video from the mountain of exceptional content people have put out in 2017, in my humble and very subjective opinion, it would have to be Goodfella's account of the weekend he was left to languish in a Glaswegian police cell after the director of Gay Pride Glasgow accused him of a hate crime. Not only is it a compelling and remarkable story, further elevated by splashes of its author's razor-sharp and extremely dry wit, but it also turns out to be a very effective morality tale for these modern times, where one person's perception and feelings about another person's words can, it seems, be enough to put someone behind bars. And it leaves you with the quite disturbing, but not entirely unrealistic, there but for the grace of God go I feeling that the next time they could come for you. I'll leave a link below the line to the full version, and I hope he doesn't mind, but as it has a running time of over 50 minutes, I thought I'd cut together a more succinct summary of the main events. And so without further ado, I give you the Goodfella hate crime harassment incident in 15 minutes. For the uninitiated, Goodfella is a single dad and a fairly prolific and established YouTuber with over 20,000 subscribers. He makes videos which, in his own words, mainly focus on political correctness and people who claim to be victims. Over the last few years, I've seen enough of his content to get the very clear impression that he is a pretty intelligent, interesting and live and let live kind of guy, albeit with the sort of colourful Glaswegian vocabulary that might send the more fragile-minded flocking to their Fabergé fainting couches. So I was more than a little surprised to discover that in August of this year, the Glasgow police had arrived at his door on a Friday evening to detain, arrest and ultimately charge him with a homophobic hate crime for allegedly having posted the following tweet. Now, if you're wondering why on earth a simple tweet could possibly warrant an actual police arrest warrant, then you're not the only one. And as it turns out, when Goodfella finally receives an explanation for his detainment, it turns out that the Glasgow police would arguably have wasted less taxpayer time and money if they'd only gone and arrested themselves.
And the police told me at the time, they said that he and the police, right, think that that tweet, that perfectly innocent, 100% innocent tweet, is saying that all Muslims are terrorists, right, and that all gay people deserve to be killed. That's what the Gay Pride director, Pride Glasgow director, sorry, and the Glasgow police think. And I'm thinking to myself, I wonder if the imam at the mosque in the city centre just over the water, I wonder if I should go down and inform him, you know, that the police that are supposed to be protecting these people think that whenever they see a Muslim with a truck, must be a terrorist, right? I mean, I think you have to be a real anti-Muslim bigot to think Muslim with a truck, terrorist, right? And it reminds me of that joke, what do you call a black man in a spacesuit? An astronaut, you fucking racist. What else are you going to call him, right? But according to the police and the Pride Glasgow director, whenever they see the words Muslim with a truck, they think terrorist, right? You see, when I hear a Muslim with a truck, right, first thing I'm thinking of is a food truck, you know, like a, you know, in fact, I'll show some images right now of what I'm talking about. This is what I picture, right? These images here. When I hear Muslim with a truck, that's what I picture, right? Muslim who's, you know, selling kebabs and pakoras and soft drinks, you know, that kind of stuff. And I just had this image in my mind of like a Muslim guy, you know, he's got the beard and he's hanging out the van with a kebab in hand, and he's smiling and he's handing it to one of the participants or whatever you call them at the Gay Pride parade, you know, and everybody's happy. He's happy because he's getting paid for his service to his community. They're happy because they're getting fed. Two communities coming together. You know, everything is positive about that tweet, right? There's bound to be hungry people at that Pride march. So whoever wrote that tweet from my IP address and from under my Twitter handle. I'm not saying it was me, but whoever did write that, I don't see anything wrong with that. That's all positive to me, right? How is it not positive? How is a Muslim, a law-abiding Muslim, providing service to a community which, by the way, those two communities don't come together often, Muslims and gays, and in a tweet talking about them coming together in a positive manner, that's seen as a hate crime? What? What's going on? Now, I mean, I can understand the Pride Glasgow director. He's gay. He's wrong to view every Muslim with a truck as a terrorist. I think that's utterly disrespectful, and I think he should publicly apologise to the Muslim community in Glasgow for that, right? But I can understand that a certain bit of animosity from him, because in a lot of Muslim countries they don't really treat gays very well. Some kill them, some put them in prison, some even force them to change their sex. Iran, you know, which ironically the LGBT community use as a positive thing. Look, there's a lot of trans people in Iran. Yes, they were forced to do that, so that's not a positive thing. But anyway, so I can understand the animosity coming from him. It still doesn't justify treating every Muslim with a truck as a terrorist. You know, we have a peaceful, very large, by the way, peaceful Muslim community in Glasgow, and people like you going around going, oh, they're terrorists if they've got a truck, and the police. I mean, I'm really tempted to go to the imam and tell him that, by the way, the police told me that whenever they see the words Muslim with a truck, they think terrorist, you know, even though there's hundreds of Muslims with trucks in Glasgow, you know, hundreds of them, and never had a problem with them, you know, except that one time one tried to crash his Jeep into the airport, but apart from that, we never had a problem with them, you know. But according to the police, all Muslims with trucks are terrorists. Very strange. A very strange message for the police to send out as well, isn't it? Very strange. Very strange. Person A does something. So person A is the person who wrote that tweet, whoever it was, right? Whoever wrote that tweet, they write down something that doesn't say terrorist or anyone being killed, right? Person B comes along and says, that says terrorist and it says people deserve to be killed. Is it fair for person B's context, anti-Islamic context, by the way, is it fair that person B's context, hateful, bigoted, anti-Muslim context, be projected onto person A? Is that fair? Because I don't think that's fair, you know. Now I look at,
funnily enough, neither do I. And yet, as we've seen in numerous examples over recent years, from student variety debonair's get to the sea tweet to the still ongoing court case over Count Dankula's clearly comedic Nazi pug YouTube video, increasingly the police may still come a-knocking even when it's clear to anyone paying the remotest bit of attention that what person A is thinking is very obviously a million light years away from what person B wants to get them arrested for. Now, in fairness to Glasgow police, 2017 will to some extent be remembered for numerous tragic terrorist incidents around Europe by men with hate in their hearts acting in the name of Islamic State. And many of these incidences, including the Westminster Bridge attack, have involved ramming vehicles into innocent civilians. And when you also take into account the widely documented intolerance towards homosexuality in at least some Muslim communities, then it's certainly not unreasonable that someone might genuinely interpret Goodfellow's tweet as offensive or upsetting. Even if by doing so it also reveals something about the prejudices and intolerance that that person may hold. But in my humble subjective opinion, that person's genuine offence is not in and of itself sufficient to justify taking away person A's freedom, especially when we are, after all, talking about a tweet that could just very simply be ignored or reported to the social media provider for them to investigate. And this is where the story takes a really sinister turn. return, which, in my humble subjective opinion, justifies the inclusion of the word harassment in the title of this video. Because, as Goodfella points out elsewhere in his video, had the police taken as much as a cursory initial investigative glance at his Twitter feed, they would have discovered additional tweets that very clearly spelled out the innocent intention behind the words that they themselves had perceived in such a hateful manner. And even if we are to believe that they were so incompetent as not to conduct the quickest of background checks before reaching for the arrest warrant, it still beggars belief that they went as far as detaining, charging and presenting him with a straight face in front of a judge on Monday morning before someone finally saw sense. And even if the judge did immediately throw out the case, because clearly no crime was committed, as we're about to find out, it doesn't necessarily follow that there weren't any victims. But before he gets to that, Goodfella had a few choice observations about the police's extraordinary reaction to some words on a Twitter feed with just over 1,000 followers.
There's only two reasons, right? And there's only one reason you join the police force, but there's two reasons in Glasgow, right? One of the reasons you join the police force in Glasgow is so that you can finally get to say there's been a murder, right? That's one reason, right? But the other reason, and this applies to all police forces probably around the world, the one reason you join the police force, what, protect and serve? Don't be silly. No. It's to chase down that perp, right? And then run up one of those little mounds on the ground, jump onto him, right into a pile of empty cardboard boxes, just like TJ Hooker used to do. That's the only reason you join the police force. And any police officers watching this, don't even try to deny it. We all know that's why you joined, right? So don't try to deny it, right? But I'm thinking of the police and I feel sorry for them, right? I mean, I just picture them, you know. They're getting ready, you know, they're getting the uniform on, they're shining their shoes, here we go, this is the day, please, Lord Almighty, make this the day I get to jump into a pile of cardboard boxes, come on, make this the day, right? And they go out, you know, and they get the call, fucking, hey, you need to go and detain somebody, oh, you beauty, here we go, get the sirens on, let's do this. So what did they do? Is a terrorist, kidnapper, murderer, serial killer, come on, give me a serial killer. I'll take a car thief at this point, come on, something. What did this guy do? Oh, he wrote a tweet. Oh, right. Well, should we take the armed response unit and the bomb squad just in case? And how embarrassing must that be when they go back to their family? You know, so what did you do? I'm imagining the woman that was there, right? I don't know if she has kids, but I'm just picturing her going home, right? She's got these kids and, oh, hi mum, we love you mum, what did you do today mum? Oh, you'll never believe I had a great day today. Did you do the cardboard box thing mum? No, I didn't do the cardboard box thing, no. Did you say the murder thing? No, I didn't say the murder thing either, no. But I did arrest a guy. Oh, what did he do mum? Was he a bad man? Was he a murderer mum? No, he wrote a tweet, so he did, he wrote a tweet. Oh well, don't worry mum, we're still proud of you. I mean, I'm not going to tell anybody in school about that, but we're still proud of you mum. Christ, it must be do you know what's less embarrassing as a police officer, right? What's less embarrassing than that? It's going home to your family and say, oh, you'll never believe what happened today. What happened? I accidentally arrested myself. Don't. Jeez, that's less embarrassing than telling them that you arrested somebody for a fucking tweet. But anyway, that's what I think of the police. But then I lost all sympathy for the police when I left the court, right? When I left the court, I finally get to my phone back, right? And I'm finally able to phone my mother-in-law who was watching my son, right? When I was in the police station Friday night, they don't. It's not like the movies in America. You don't get a phone call. What they do is you get a phone call, but you don't get to make it, right? They get to make it. So they say, "Who would you like us to phone on your behalf?" Right? So I said, "I'd like you to phone my mother-in-law because she's my son's gran, right? Because she's looking after my son right now. And if I'm in here till Monday, I need her to know that I'm in here." And I said, will you phone her? Make sure that's the only thing I'm interested in, is that doesn't happen. I don't mind my son missing school on the Monday, but they need to know, right? I don't mind spending a weekend in jail. It's not an issue. That was my concern, was my son, right? So they said, yes, we'll make the phone call. If we don't make contact, we'll let you know, so that you can give us another contact to phone, right? So I thought, right, okay. So I'm thinking, the phone call must have been made, right? No. I'm seriously thinking of getting a lawyer here and doing something about this, because this is the worst thing about the whole weekend, right? When I get out, I finally got my phone, and I phoned my mother-in-law. First thing I say is, so did the police phone you? No, they didn't phone, right? What happened, and this is what makes me angry and sick to my fucking stomach, right? You dirty, dirty bastards at the police station. You dirty fucking bastards, right? For what you did, you are dirty bastards. I'll tell you that much. And don't think I'm one of these anti-police people, because people who watch my videos will know I'm always defending the fucking police. I know they've got a hard job, but shit like this, it makes people like me lose respect for you, and I'm always defending you. Anyway, my son was absolutely fucking terrified that something had happened to me. He was worried sick, and he told me that when I finally got to see him again Monday afternoon. He said he was very scared, right? It made me want to cry what he went through, right? And I was so fucking angry at those dirty bastards not making that phone call. They didn't even make a fucking phone call. They can come out to my fucking house and make a motherfucking arrest based on a fucking tweet that I don't even know about, and I don't know who made it. Based on a fucking tweet, a harmless fucking tweet, they can come out to my motherfucking house and do that, and they can't even make a simple motherfucking phone call? My fucking God, you dirty, dirty bastards. And is me saying that hate speech? I don't give a shit. You fucked me royally with my son when you didn't make that phone call, so fuck you if it's hate speech. I don't care. Absolute dirty, dirty scum bastards for not making that fucking phone call. And I was nothing but pleasant to you cunts from start to finish, and that's how you treat me. I wasn't going in there shouting and swearing and all that crap. I was good, and I was decent, and I was pleasant and kind and nice to you cunts, and that's how you treat me for a fucking tweet? Fuck you. Fuck you, fuck the Scottish Government, fuck the fucking police, fuck the fucking law. It needs a fucking overhaul. We need a constitution in this country to protect people's free fucking expression, especially when that free expression that you think I made is perfectly 100% nice. And where's a Muslim with a truck when you need one? Yeah, you asked the Pride Glasgow director, Muslim with a truck, what's that? Well, that's a terrorist, obviously. Hey, director of Pride Glasgow, what do you call a black man in a spacesuit? His answer, oh, it must be a thief who stole a spacesuit, obviously. That must be the fucking answer. Can't be anything else, right? You fucking dirty bastards, man. You dirty, dirty bastards. And I know the agenda. I know what the agenda is. The director of Pride Glasgow, do you know that that's a charity? Do you know that that's a charity? Who are they helping? Well, how is that a charity? So they're actually a registered charity. I don't know why, but they are. So obviously he's using the funds to get a lawyer, press charges against innocent people like myself, harass innocent people like myself. And the reason he's doing this, right, this is the reason, I'll explain the reason, right, it's very simple, right. He wants to get hate crimes against the LGBT community up, right, so that when it comes to getting more funding, he can then go, oh, look at the rise in hate crimes against the LGBT community. But when you hear rise in hate crimes, what they mean is rise in tweets that he has taken out of context in the most extreme manner. That's what a hate crime is. That's his agenda. The government's agenda with this hate crime, hate speech crap is they don't want their citizens, who they work for, by the way, not the other way around, but they don't want their citizens questioning their policies. This is how it goes, right? Hey, you verbalise this publicly, right, on social media, right? Hey, I disagree with that policy. Well, I think you'll find that that policy involves a particular demographic, and that particular demographic is considered a protected class. Therefore, your criticism of said policy is hate speech. You're now charged with a hate crime. Then all the other citizens who think the same thing, they go, oh, I'd better not say what I think, because I might also end up in prison on charges of a hate crime. because the policy I disagree with involves a certain demographic, and criticising the policy is seen as criticising the demographic, and therefore it's a hate crime. That's the government side. They want to make their citizens fearful of criticising any policy they come out with, right? So that's the agenda of both. But it's absolutely shit that because of these agendas, innocent people like myself, who have never broken the law, haven't done anything wrong to anyone, I've never hurt anybody, I've never hurt a fucking soul, right? And I don't hate anybody. People who watch my channel already know that. Of course there are many people I dislike, but for me, they're only worth mocking. But I don't hate anybody. There's no demographic I just hate. No, it doesn't work like that. Not for me.
Can't you see it too? There's an elephant in the room.